stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University.
The time is 10 a.m.
Thank you for tuning in to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Dennis, and I'm here with Sandy. We invite you to listen to our broadcasts, both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel, Monday to Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact the Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a programmed radio.
See the 2026 South Central Association football games. Missouri State head coach Casey Woods talks quarterback battle. Missouri State head coach Casey Wood talking about quarterback battle between Skyler Locklear and Henry Bellin during Conference USA Media Day on Tuesday, July 21st, courtesy of the Conference of USA. The high school football season begins at the end of August. The South Central Association will be filled with the top flight games each week to share in Southwest Missouri. Here is the 2026 schedule for every team in the conference. Home games in the bold. South Central Association schedule: Ava at Forsyth, August 28th. Logan, Rogersville, September 4th. Mountain Grove, September 11th. Liberty, September 18th. At Salem, September 25th. Houston, October 2nd. And Willow Springs, October 23rd.
From the Springfield News Leader, cost of Springfield hailstorm passed $300 million as recovery continues. More than 3 months after the devastating spring hailstorm struck North Springfield, the community is still recovering from the fallout and calculating the cost. On April 28, 2026, the National Weather Service recorded hail between 2 3/4 inches and a staggering 4 3/4 inches wide, about the size of a grapefruit or the width of a CD. That damaged thousands of vehicles and homes, as well as businesses, vegetation, and utility infrastructure. As of August 7th, the total property damage recorded set at $314.9 million, according to the National Centers for Environmental Information, making it the second most expensive hailstorm in Missouri history, trailing St. Louis County's $400 million hailstorm in April 2001, and the 14th highest total in the United States history since data began tracked in 1950. The number doesn't reflect the $2.9 million in crop damages, which is also the second largest behind Nottoway County's $5 million total from a June 1994 storm. Before April, Greene County had never recorded hail larger than 3 inches or tallied more than $4 million in property damages or crop damages exceeding 10,000. These statistics are set to fluctuate as more information regarding storm damages is collected. There was nothing I think you could really do with that level of warning, and that is not to say anything disparaging against the NWS, said Rin Lubbering, Marketing Manager and Public Information Officer at the Springfield Branson National Airport. But I don't think we fully understood what we were expecting, and I don't think anyone did, he added. It was like the building was being bombed. That's what it sounded like. We have a 270,000 square foot facility here at the airport with a pretty strong roof, and you could hear it. You could hear how the hail was damaging the building in real time. It was pretty surreal. Lubbering said that the airport, located in northwest Springfield, is estimating more than $10 million in damages to airport property as of July 31st. That total does not include damage suffered by the businesses that own property within the airport boundaries or in the surrounding area. Of the airport's 26 buildings, only 2 did not receive significant roof damage, she said. 2 cargo planes, 3 airline aircraft, and several general aviation planes were damaged. 1 plane had to be disassembled on the ramp because it was so beat up. About 27 flights were canceled over 48 hours. Planes from other airports flew into Springfield to save them from their hours-long flight delays, Lubbering said. One airline bused nearly 200 people to Northwest Arkansas National Airport in Bentonville in the wake of the delays. In addition to facility and plane damage, more than 1,500 cars in the short and long-term parking lots were damaged, and 400 rental cars were totaled. Airport employees used tarps sent from the Convoy of Hope to cover more than 400 damaged vehicles within 5 hours of the storm. Within the first few days, the airport waived more than 1,400 parking tickets worth, somewhere around $100,000, for cars being towed out of its lots. Lubbering said it would likely take months to assess and repair all the damage, including to nearly a dozen businesses inside its facility. Our hearts go out to not just the damage to the cars, but then the significant impact to people's schedules and travel plans. But it was a once-in-a-lifetime hailstorm. We have people at the airport who have worked here 30 years plus who have never encountered something like that. The Dickerson Park Zoo, located about 4 miles east of the airport, also received significant damage. The roofs of more than 80 structures were damaged, along with 10 zoo vehicles. More significantly, an emu died from head trauma after being struck by the hail. Ken Harmon, a general curator at the zoo, received an emergency alert on his phone 15 to 20 minutes before the storm reached the area. Initially thinking the storm would travel south of the facility, he and his staff enacted practice safety precautions. Get visitors safe first, then make sure the dangerous animals, such as lions and tigers, were secured in case any enclosures were damaged. After that, zookeepers made sure all the animals were in a place of shelter. At some point, the emu left its place of shelter and was exposed to the deadly hail. Other than the emu that died, all visitors, workers, and zoo animals remained safe during the storm. However, nearly all zoo structures, from animal cages to facility buildings, suffered roof damage. Some structures were punctured to the point that open holes were left behind. Gutters, windshields in all the cars, skylights in the buildings had to be replaced, Harmon said. We didn't have any electrical lines down or anything like that. Fencing and roofs were our main loss. The cost to fix everything has fluctuated as the hail damage has been assessed, though Harmon was confident the total will be several millions. Nonetheless, he's proud of the way that his team handled the situation as it unfolded. This isn't a job, they take care of these animals. They just want to do the best they can for them. In the wake of the storm, area insurance professionals rallied for a different kind of response. Bryant Young, an agency principal at Insurers of the Ozarks, required all hands on deck after hearing about the possible extent of damages done by the hailstorm. In the first 5 hours alone, his staff fielded 50 household claims. A majority of the initial claims were auto-related. As time has gone on, home claims have increased significantly, with the most common filings related to roof damage. He said the company still gets a couple of calls a week from lingering hailstorm damage. From a company standpoint, Young compared this to the January 2007 ice storm, which resulted in a state record $121.7 million in damages per NCEI. I would put this, as an agency, up there on par with the 2007 ice storm that hit Springfield, where there are homes that were out of power for 14 days because of the amount of ice that had accumulated on power lines and homes and trees and everything else. It was the year I graduated from high school, So it was one of those deals where I have a very distinct memory of that event, and it was wild, Young said. He also said it's too early to tell the amount of financial damages IOTO will process. Only 3 months in, the hailstorm's tally is almost triple the cost of the ice storm 2 decades prior. The official numbers likely won't be finalized for the foreseeable future. But if there's anything he, Harmon, Lubring, and the thousands of people in Greene County impacted by the storm have learned, it's that no amount of preparation can prepare for a weather event that rains grapefruit-sized hail. It's so difficult to plan for something like this that it's so completely out of the ordinary. I mean, we deal with wind and hail in southern Missouri. We live in that part of the country. It's our opportunity to really go to work and take care of our clients by being available, making sure that we're getting these claims turned into the insurance company and getting the company running as fast as possible to get these folks back on the road or get their homes repaired as fast as possible.
Springfield man who attempted to buy University Heights home with forged check sentenced to prison. While out on bond for forging a $450,000 check to buy a house, prosecutors say 67-year-old Terry Heitman continued forging checks and then fled from police. The Springfield man who attempted to buy a $455,000 home in the University Heights neighborhood last year with a fraudulent check admitted to his crimes and was sentenced to prison this week. On Monday, August 3rd, Terry Maurice Heitman, 67, pleaded guilty on 2 counts of forgery and 1 count of aggravated fleeing, all Class D felonies. As part of the plea agreement, the prosecutor dropped 6 forgery charges and 1 count of attempted stealing. In accordance with the agreement, Judge Jerry Harmonson sentenced Heitman to 7 years in prison for each charge, with those sentences to be served concurrently. Heitman, described in court documents as a career criminal with an extensive history of fraud spanning 46 years, provided a fraudulent cashier's check in 2024 for $450,000 to try to purchase a home located at 806 East Linwood Street. He was charged with more crimes while out on bond. While he was out on bond in the fraudulent $450,000 check case, Heitman racked up more charges. Court documents show a Greene County assistant prosecutor filed a motion to rearrest Heitman on June 1st and charged him with another case with forgery. According to the probable cause statement for the more recent forgery charge, Heitman bought his 2017 Audi to the Auto Technics Import Services in the Republic for a scheduled service appointment on March 23rd. Heitman returned to the Auto Technics on March 27th and allegedly presented a check from Caden Spain for $1,095 to pay for the repairs to the vehicle. When the Auto Technics attempted to deposit the check, it was returned with the following information as unlocate account. The investigator with Republic Police Department contacted Caden Spank and was told Heitman did not have an account there and the check was worth nothing. A search on online court records revealed Heitman was also charged in January with the Class E felony of passing a bad check in Christian County. Though the probable cause statement for this charge does not contain much information, what investigators believe happened states that Heitman wrote a check for $4,196 to Extensive Auto in Ozark. According to the Christian County probable cause statement, the check was returned from the bank marked unable to locate. Then he attempted to flee from the police with 2 felony warrants for his arrest. Heitman attempted to flee from Springfield police officer on June 16th, according to the court documents. According to the probable cause statement, which written by the officer, Heitman drove his black Audi off at a high rate of speed, and when the officer attempted to stop him, the officer spotted Heitman's Audi parked in the driveway and observed Heitman walking away from the car. The officer told Heitman to stop, but Heitman continued to walk toward the resident. When the officer attempted to put Heitman in handcuffs, Heitman tensed up and pulled away. He was eventually taken into custody and booked into the Greene County Jail. An extensive criminal history. In court filings, Assistant Greene County Prosecutor Kimberly Pulley wrote that Heitman has an extensive criminal history of fraud and with not just state but federal convictions spanning 46 years. The prosecutor then listed Heitman's convictions, which he began in 1979 with passing a bad check. He also has been convicted numerous times for forgery and fraudulent illegal use of credit cards. In 2019, he was convicted of misappropriation of funds of elderly nursing home residents. Heitman has been remanded to the Department of Corrections numerous times, the prosecutor wrote. As Heitman was let out of the courtroom Monday, defense attorney John Peacock patted him on the back and said, "Take care of yourself, Terry."
And this from the Springfield Business Journal. Silver Dollar City to debut new coaster in 2027 season. Miners Mountain Express is coming to Silver Dollar City, officials announced this morning. The roller coaster, to be open for visitors at the start of the 2027 season, is being called the longest family coaster in the Midwest by park officials. A video introducing the ride emphasized two peaks, unusual in coasters, according to Maximilian Roser, head of marketing for design from Mack Rides of Waldkirch, Germany. The video boasted views that shine like gold. With every twist and turn, families become storytellers, the promotional video said. Roser agreed in an interview that the views are this distinguishing element of the coaster. "Look at this view right now," he said, gesturing to the Ozark Hills from the construction site. "We set up so many rides in parking lots, but this, oh my gosh, you can't beat it." Roser said a family coaster lacks some of the features of a regular ride with no upside-down turns. There is a slow, steep incline followed by a rush through the mountains, he said. It also has the unusual feature of a tunnel with bats in it, he said. "It's really crazy," he added. Roser emphasized that a family ride is not a kiddie coaster. "This will be a thrilling ride," he said. "Everybody who wants to ride will feel the adrenaline and feel the rush of speed, but still you're not scared of the ride. You want to re-ride and re-ride and re-ride again." The 250-year-old Max Rides Company previously built the River Blast and Time Traveler rides at Silver Dollar City. Brad Thomas, president of Silver Dollar City, said in an announcement of the new attraction that it is part of a $150 million improvement plan to launch in spring of 2027, including Silver Dollar City Resort. In all, some $500 million worth of improvements are planned. It's $150 million in investment because Silver Dollar City believes in the future of the East Ozark Mountains, Thomas said. He said that every year the park gets visitors from all 50 states and at least 6 countries. The ride is described as a mine train adventure dug from Ozark's history. Riders occupy mine cars and head off in search of a lost entrance to Marble Cave, according to the official overview, and along the way they dodge obstacles and enter a flooded mine shaft. The ride is more than half a mile in length at 3,553 feet, and the ride time is 3 minutes 18 seconds, including an advertised 15 moments of weightlessness. The Marble Cave Mining Company operated on the site of Silver Dollar City 145 years ago, the description states, adding that the head frame topping the ride is an authentic head frame from an actual Missouri mine. Miners Mountain Express will replace Thunderation, which has operated at Silver Dollar City for 33 years and will close January 2nd, 2027.
Springfield's Moxie Cinema seeks dog videos before fundraiser deadline. Springfield's area dog owners have until August 31st to submit videos for the Moxie Cinema's inaugural Dog Academy Awards, a community film festival and fundraiser featuring canine-focused short films. The event supports Moxie Dog Cinema's nonprofit mission to engage, educate, and inspire the community through films. According to the community announcement, organizers said in the announcement that entries can range from edited productions to simple cell phone videos capturing everyday moments with dogs. The cinema is encouraging participation from first-time filmmakers and experienced creators alike. Videos may feature dogs performing tricks, running through the yard, playing with family members, stealing snacks, or other moments that showcase their personalities. You don't need to create a Hollywood production, Joel Dull, executive director of the Moxie Cinema, said in the announcement. Some of the best entries will simply be genuine moments between people and their dogs. If it already is on your phone and makes you smile, we want to see it. Community members can submit films online at moxiecinema.com. The Moxie offers in-person submission assistance. For people who need help uploading entries, Moxie Cinema will provide in-person submission assistance at its theater, 305 South Campbell Avenue, Suite 101 in Springfield. Staff members will be available from 1 to 3 p.m. on August 20th and August 21st. Participants may bring videos or photos and receive help completing the submission process. Organizers also will answer questions about the festival. Submissions close August 31st. Films will screen in September. Accepted entries will be shown at the Moxie Cinema during September screenings, giving participants an opportunity to see their dogs featured on the theater screen. The festival concludes with Dog Academy Awards Gala on October 3rd at Mother's Brewing Company in Springfield. Organizers said that the event will include a red carpet photo experience, an award presentation, and dogs-focused activities. We are so excited for this event. A big part of the Moxie Cinema is bringing the community together through the power of films. And the Dog Academy Award is a great way to celebrating our community and hopefully inviting some new people into it. Also, the dog movies. How fun is that? Dull said in an announcement. Volunteer judges and sponsors sought the Dog Academy Awards is seeking volunteers, judges, and sponsors ahead of the festival. According to the announcement, sponsorship opportunities are available and at multiple levels, including presentation scholarship or sponsorships and in-kind partnerships with provide visibly during September screenings and the October Gala. Additional information and film submissions are available at moxiecinema.com.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, Mike Rakes is out at Evangel. The president was a prolific fundraiser, yet struggled to balance the checkbook. 5 years and then poof, Mike Rakes was gone. He resigned effective immediately July 30th as the 5th president of Evangel University, founded in 1955. His Evangel tenure is filled with striking juxtapositions. He was a prolific fundraiser who at the same time, and in his words, struggled to balance Evangel's checkbook. As he cut staff and faculty to rein in spending, his wife and son were hired at Evangel in jobs created just for them, which caused some employees to grumble. His house in the gated community of Highland Springs, just outside the Springfield city limits, was listed for sale August 11th. There was no press conference about his rapid departure, no accessibility offered to the media. The private Christian university in Springfield has put out one press release about the resignation. It said it would provide no further information. Rakes, who was hired in 2021, spoke via that press release. He said that he leaves Evangel full of gratitude and that he and his wife Darla will turn their focus to a new venture, a business coaching enterprise called Pillar Stone. Rakes said the following in a letter to Evangel community on his Facebook page. The decision has not been driven by a single moment, but by the growing conviction over the past year that my season of leadership at Evangel was drawing to its natural conclusion. On August 11th, he declined to speak to the Springfield Daily Citizen when contacted for comment on the story. Evangel hired a consultant to help Rakes balance the operating budget. The significant building projects in Rakes' tenure included Flood Hall, a new 4-story dormitory with 116 student rooms, and the Valor Center, the university's new 70,000 square foot state-of-the-art sports complex. The additions will have a long-lasting positive impact on the campus. Yet Rakes failed to balance the school's operating budget in each of his 5 years there, telling faculty and staff that the school ran deficits of $4 million to $7 million in those years. The millions pledged to specific building projects cannot be used to balance the operating budget. In a March 11th meeting with staff and faculty, which was secretly recorded and provided to the Daily Citizen, Rakes said, Evangel had only balanced their budget one time in 2 decades. You can go check their audits. They're public. You can see. The Daily Citizen asked Evangel if that statement was accurate. The university did not respond. The financial problems were pressing enough for the Evangel Board of Trustees to hire about a year ago a financial consultant called CFO Colleague to help Rakes get Evangel's financial house in order. Recordings of what Rakes told faculty and staff. Before coming to Evangel in 2021, Rakes and his wife had co-pastored an Assemblies of God church in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Rakes had been a pastor there for 15 years. He had ties to Springfield. He graduated from Central Bible College and the Assemblies of God Theological Seminary, which is a part of Evangel. In the 1980s, he was a youth pastor at Central Assembly God on Boonville Avenue. Evangel University's decision to say little about Rakes' hasty departure is not unusual. It is a private institution and is not governed by the state's sunshine law regarding open records. Still, there is nothing in state law that forbids Evangel from being more transparent. Some of the information in this story comes from the annual Form 990 tax forms Evangel must file. Some comes from Rick Wadholm, for 5 years an associate professor specializing in the Old Testament at the Assemblies of God Theological Seminary, which is part of Evangel. Wadholm's contract was not renewed in April, only 3 weeks before it expired. He provided the Springfield Daily Citizen with audio recordings he made when Rakes spoke to the faculty and staff on November 17th, 2025, and again on March 11th of this year. Evangel cut staff in recent years to balance the operating budget, while Rakes' wife and son were added to the payroll, a new position created for each. Darla Rakes became the ambassador to students and donors, and their son Braden was hired in 2022 to coach Evangel's first ever bass fishing team. A July 19th, 2022, Evangel University news release states that Braden Rakes, over 6 years, have been the leading money winner in the Big Bass Tours amateur circuit, taking home over $120,000 in prize money. A September 22nd, 2023 story in the student newspaper The Lance reported on the new bass fishing team. The reporter interviewed a freshman on the team. He had said that he received a bass fishing scholarship from Evangel. According to Wadholm, he and other Evangel employees asked one question regarding the position created for Darla Rakes. Why? Why is she hired? What is she doing? Equally puzzling was the bass fishing team to be coached by Rakes' son. It was bizarre, and there were all sorts of discussions around campus, Wadholm said. Why are we doing this? Why do we have that? And of course, again, hiring his son to do it. Earlier this year, the college cut 40 positions in an effort to save $10 million, according to a Springfield Business Journal report. That June 8th Business Journal story states, quote, Evangel University has eliminated 40 positions, 13% of its faculty and staff, as part of an ongoing effort to cut at least $10 million in operating expenses by the end of the next fiscal year. Most of the 24 staff positions were cut by layoff or not renewing annual contracts, while most of the 16 faculty positions were dropped through attrition or not filling jobs vacated by retirements and resignations. For more than a decade, the story said, Evangel has been on a federal watch list of institutions with shaky finances. Despite these shaky finances, Evangel paid Rakes a total compensation of $518,628 in his first full year, according to the school's federal tax return. He was Evangel's highest paid president ever. Robert Spence was president from 1974 to 2013, and in his final year was paid $219,000. Carol Taylor, the school's first female president, was in charge from 2014 to 2020, and in her final full year, she was paid $239,225. The Springfield Daily Citizen sent 12 questions to Evangel on August 11th, including one asking for an explanation or elaboration on Rakes' 2022-2023 salary of $518,000. There was no response. Rakes' annual compensation decreased after 2022 and 23, but his wife and son were added to the Evangel payroll. Rakes' compensation for 22 to 23 was $518,628. Rakes' family compensation for 23-24, Michael Rakes, $355,060, Darla Rakes, $59,093, and Braden Rakes, $23,817,000, for a total of $437,970. Rakes' family compensation from 24 and 25, Michael Rakes, $365,012, Darla Rakes, $67,232, Braden Rakes, $44,250, totaling $476,494. The Form 990 tax return for the 2025 year has not been made public. Rakes has said that he initially was not interested in the Evangel president's job when first contacted about it. On March 11th, according to an audio recording, he told faculty and staff, May 11th, almost 5 years ago, I received a call from Doug Clay, who was representing the search committee, and he invited me to come out and interview with Evangel, and I said no. Clay is Chief Executive Officer of the General Council of the Assemblies of God. He sits on the Evangel Board of Trustees. He is the top official General Superintendent of the Assemblies of God in the United States. Greene County property records show that Rakes bought a lot in Highland Springs on January 20th, 2021, 4 months before he says he was first contacted about the job, and 6 months before he was hired. The property is where Rakes subsequently built a house. Evangel was asked for an explanation and whether it was possible that Rakes knew as early as January 21 that he had the job. The university did not respond. Rakes put his house up for sale on August 11th, according to Zillow. The asking price for Rakes' home is $985,000. The listing states, here's your opportunity to own a nearly new home in the highly sought-after Highland Springs subdivision at an incredible value. Built in 2023 and offered at $200,000 below its recent appraised value, the home combines space, quality, and location.
Actress Hayden Panettiere dies at 36. Hayden Panettiere, the former child actress best known for her roles in TV series like Heroes and Nashville, has died at the age of 36. Her representative confirmed her death to USA Today on Sunday, August 16th. TMZ was the first to share the news. It was with profound sadness that we share this tragic passing of our beloved Hayden. She was an incredible girl and a force of nature who brought immersible love and joy to all that knew her, and to all the millions who watched her on screen. Her father, Skip Pantier, said in the statement, "He asked for privacy as our family takes time to process unimaginable loss." Pantier, whose long and prolific career in TV and film began when she was a baby, had been vocal in recent years about her troubles with addiction and effects of childhood stardom. Hayden Pantier, cause of death is unknown. A cause of death is not yet been shared. On August 16th, at about 1:51 p.m., police officers and emergency medical personnel responded to a call in an acquaintance of Pantier's reporting an unresponsive woman at the apartment complex in Greenville, South Carolina. Police confirmed to USA Today on August 17th. Upon arrival, medical assistance was administered, but the woman, later identified as Pantier, was pronounced dead, according to police. They added that no foul play is suspected. The Greenville Police Department and Greenville County Coroner's Office are investigating. Hayden Pantier's movies and shows included Scream and Nashville. The young blonde star with plenty of on-screen spunk, Pantier held her own against top stars in her early careers, starting opposite Denzel Washington in Remember the Titans of Callista Flockhart and Ally McBeal. Those early career moments also included roles in soap operas One Life to Live, crime procedural Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and the animated film A Bug's Life. Her role in Disney's A Tiger's Cruise 2004 as teen military child Maddie Dolan, as a rival ice skater Jennifer Jen Hartwood in 2005's Ice Princess, brought her to the masses. Pantier's death comes more than a year after her loss of her Ice Princess co-star Michelle Trachtenberg, who died at 39 in February 2005. New York City office chief medical examiner declared the cause and manner of Trachtenberg's death as complications of diabetes. Medalist. Pantier's breakout star role came as cheerleader Claire Bennett on the NBC's teen superhero drama Heroes, and later as a county pop singer in more than 100 episodes of Nashville. She starred as Kirby Reed in the Scream slasher film franchise, appearing in 2011 Scream 4, 2022 Scream, and 2023 Scream 4. She also starred in the films Bring It On, All or Nothing, I Love You, Beth Cooper, and Raising Helen. Hayden Pantier books details child stardom, addiction, and brother's death. In her candid memoir released earlier this year, This Is Me, A Reckoning, Pantier's chronicled childhood fame laid bare across with her infurious actors in her teens and addiction as an adult. Interviews of a memoir, Pantier reflected as she was groomed to be a little soldier throughout her early career. Grown-ups gave me positive attention when, as an actor, I failed. I got sick, screamed and cried, killed, grieved, and suffered. Reality merged with my imagination and burrowed into my core memories, where all of my shame and trauma lives. Pantier wrote in her memoir, I've often wondered whether unintentionally I have brought on my traumas because I am wired to think they're good for me. Born August 21st, 1989, Pantier was raised in the Palisades of New York by former soap actress Leslie R. Vogel, and Alan Lee Skip Pantier, a former captain with the New York City Fire Department. She began appearing in TV commercials before she turned one and spent the rest of her life in front of the camera. She was one of the youngest Grammy nominees, earning a nomination for Best Spoken World Album for Children, A Bug's Life read along. She also earned nominations for the Golden Globe Award, Young Artist Awards, People's Choice Awards, and Critics' Choice Television Awards, winning a Teen Choice Awards in 2007 for Choice TV Actress in Drama for Heroes. When she was a teen, Pantier's team gave her happy pills and amphetamine. Pantier believed before interviews and red carpets to help her focus. Pantier wrote in her memoirs that this was a habit would forever change her world. At 16, they were a gateway drug that unheard me toward the good of pharmaceuticals and downfall of addiction, she wrote. Elsewhere, the actress wrote that her turn on Nashville often reflected the real-life confusion she felt. Juliette Barnes had postpartum depression, an alcohol and pill problem, a divorcee, and a horizon. She was erratic, an absentee mother, and fought with everyone, including her fans. Every time I read the day script, it was like I was looking at a funhouse mirror, seeing a distorted reflection of myself. I can't tell you how lost this made me feel, Pantier wrote. Her substance misuse is not only a struggle the Pantier family had experienced. Pantier wrote in her book that her brother, Jansen, was smoking crack and snorting heroin before he died in 2023 at the age of 28. At that time, the family revealed the cause of death as cardiomyopathy, enlarged heart, coupled with the aortic valve complication. Hayden Pantier, This Is Me, a memoir of Pac's relationship with her daughter. In the throes of the postpartum depression after having her daughter, Kea Pantier wrote that she became addicted to alcohol, Klonopin, a central nervous system depressant. At one point, the doctor told her she'd be dead within 5 years if she did not stop drinking, and she wrote. The actress shares Kea 11 with her former fiancé, Waldemir Kizayko, a Ukrainian professional boxer. During this time, Pantier said the first thing she thought of when she woke up was alcohol. Not my child, not my job, not the rest of my life. I needed a drink to function. Kizayko then asked for full custody of their daughter, worrying about being in Pantier's care. The actress detailed the move to give her full custody in the appearance on Jay Shetty's On Purpose podcast in May. The idea that anybody would think I would just give away my child and be okay with it is heartbreaking, she told Shetty. It couldn't be further from the truth. It became the horrible cycle for years of battling depression, anxiety, and alcoholism and substance abuse. And it's just me trying to find my way back. Pantier had opened up about the criticism on an episode of Red Table Talk in 2022. She said that the move give up custody wasn't a decision that Kizayko thought I could choose to snap out of it. At the time she signed papers, she said she believed Kea would come back to live with her when she got healthy. But that didn't happen. I did not have a good reaction to it. I went like a mother lion. I would have burnt the world down for my child, she told Shetty. But she eventually realized Kea had started building a beautiful life in Ukraine. If you or someone you know is struggling or crisis, you can call the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration helpline at 1-800-662-HELP 4357.
From the Springfield News Leader, Planned Parenthood begins offering procedural abortions in the Ozarks. Abortion access in Missouri continues to expand under the constitutional amendment voters approved in 2024, less than 3 months before they'll be asked to undo it. The latest expansion is in Springfield, where Planned Parenthood began offering in-clinic procedural abortions Thursday. Just a few weeks earlier, the clinic began prescribing abortion medication, returning abortion access to the Missouri Ozarks for the first time in 21 years. The Springfield Clinic will offer procedural abortions up to 12 weeks into pregnancy, Planned Parenthood Great Rivers said in a press release. Chrissy Durant, a spokesperson for Planned Parenthood Great Rivers, which operates the clinic, said appointments are already fully booked for this week. For now, the clinic will offer both medication and procedural abortion appointments every couple of weeks, she said, but that is subject to change as clinic staff work a longer-term schedule. Prior to July, Missourians in the area had to drive hours to reach a Planned Parenthood clinic where they could end a pregnancy. Reproductive rights advocates point to limited paid time off, child care access, and lack of transportation as barriers to accessing abortion outside a person's hometown. After decades without abortion care nearby, we have seen patients right here in Springfield, and they are relieved to find the care they need within the reach of where they live, Dr. Margaret Baum, Chief Medical Officer of Planned Parenthood Great Rivers, said in a statement. We know abortion care is online in Missouri, and that's exactly why we are expanding. We won't back down. We are standing proudly in our solidarity with our patients who want, who need, and who voted for access to abortion care. The Springfield Clinic is the fourth Planned Parenthood in the state to offer in-clinic procedures after Missourians passed a constitutional amendment in 2024 protecting abortion up to the point of fetal viability. Planned Parenthood clinics in Kansas City, Columbia, and St. Louis restarted procedural abortions in 2025. All 4 clinics, along with Planned Parenthood in Gladstone, offer medication abortion following a June court ruling that struck down dozens of abortion regulations challenged under the 2024 amendment. The judge in that case upheld only a few of the challenged abortion regulations, including a requirement that patients meet with the doctor in person before being prescribed medication abortion, and a requirement that only physicians can perform abortions. Durant said these laws affect Planned Parenthood's ability to offer more appointments at this time. Planned Parenthood officials have advocated for patients' ability to choose which abortion method is best for them. Medication abortion is the most common method for ending a pregnancy in the U.S. It typically involves taking mifepristone, which in Missouri must be administered at a clinic, followed later by misoprostol. The Food and Drug Administration has approved the regimen for use through 10 weeks of pregnancy. Procedural abortions, which can be performed later in pregnancy, take place in clinic using various methods and are completed much faster than medication abortion. This November, Missouri voters will decide whether they want to reinstate an abortion ban. The proposed constitutional amendment, which will appear on the ballot as Amendment 3, would ban the procedure with limited exceptions for survivors in rape and incest and for medical emergencies. It would also write a ban on gender-affirming care for minors, already prohibited under state law, into the state constitution.
Lake Springfield is a treasure that must be maintained. Opinion. The heartbreaking deaths of members of the Shawnee family, or Stanti family at the Lake Springfield Dam, have deeply affected our entire community. My prayers remain with the surviving family members and all who love them. As retired, I spent my career asking simple questions after every unexpected outcome. What can we learn that may prevent this from happening again? And the same philosophy can guide our responses to this tragedy. My wife and I have lived on the Lake Springfield, for many years. We love this lake for its beauty, wildlife, fishing and boating, and quiet enjoyment. It is one of Springfield's treasures, and preserving it for the future generations should be our goal. Over the years, I have watched portions of the lake gradually change because of sediment accumulation and aquatic vegetation. We have personally witnessed canoeists and kayakers become trapped in heavy vegetation and soft slit, and once called 911 after hearing people calling for help. Those experiences remind us that hazards are often discovered only after somebody is already in danger. For years, I have asked city utilities about dredging and a long-term stewardship of the lake. I never received an explanation that fully answered my question. I know I was not alone. Many residents have expressed similar concerns because they care deeply about Springfield. I am not suggesting that dredging would have prevented the Stanway tragedy. The immediate danger involved the low head dam. Nevertheless, the tragedy invites broader questions. As Lake Springfield evolved from an industrial cooling reservoir into the Springfield's premier residential destinations, where warning systems, buoy placement, exclusion zones, and emergency protections periodically reevaluated. The present buoy line far enough upstream to provide unfamiliar boaters an adequate time to recognize danger, particularly during the periods of high flow. The community invested significant effort in developing a visionary master plan for the Lake Springfield. Vision is important, yet stewardship is equally important. Beautiful parks, trails, and future amenities should be matched by continued investment and maintenance, sediment management, engineering review, and public safety. The questions are not accusations, they are an invitation to transparency, careful review, and continuous improvement. Lake Springfield deserves to remain beautiful, environmentally healthy, rich in wildlife, and safe for every family member that launches a boat or kayak. If thoughtful improvements emerge from the tragedy, the lives were lost will leave a legacy measured not only in sorrow, but in future lives protected.
From the News Leader, New Springfield campaign urges support for nonprofits over panhandling. Springfield is launching a public awareness campaign that encourages residents to support local nonprofits instead of giving cash to people seeking help at intersections. The effort, called Help Starts Here, was created by the City of Springfield and several community organizations, according to a community announcement. Partners include Community Partnership of the Ozarks, Crosslines Community Outreach, Victory Mission, and the United Way Ozarks Region. The campaign seeks to raise awareness of services available to people in need while reducing cash donations at intersections and directing more support to organizations that provide long-term service. The idea was introduced by Councilwoman Callie Carroll, chair of the Springfield City Council's Community Involvement Committee. Residents can learn more through the campaign website at springfieldmo.gov. City officials and nonprofit leaders said in the announcement that the initiative is designed to connect people with organizations that provide services such as food assistance, housing support, shelter, counseling, and mental health resources. Campaign materials include testimonial videos from nonprofit leaders, educational videos, social media outreach. The campaign website and signs installed near 10 busy intersections across Springfield. The signs carry the message, "It's okay to say no to panhandling. Support local organizations that can help." United Way Ozarks Region President and CEO Brandy Van Antwerp said that directing donations through nonprofit organizations can increase their impact. Many times in the Ozarks, we see people in need on the corners asking for help. I'm one of those people who wants to give help, Van Antwerp said in the announcement. When we can instead donate to a nonprofit whose mission is to help folks in need, we're able to stretch those dollars further. Your $1 or $5 donation can do a lot more when you give it to a nonprofit. It also ensures that it addresses the greatest needs being experienced by that individual, whether that is food, housing, shelter, or mental health support. Victory Mission Executive Director Jason Heinzen said that some donors may be able to create longer-term exchange by supporting service providers. I've heard stories from individuals who, because they received donations at intersections, that they have been stuck one more day in their situation, thinking about daily survival versus thriving. Heinzen said in the announcement, at Victory Mission, we want to take those donations and help people with counseling, jobs, shelter, food, to give them that chance to make a lasting change rather than that one-time $5 that keeps them stuck in survival mode.
Former child division worker, 4 others charged after toddler found resembling a Holocaust survivor in Clever. 5 people, including a former children's division worker, have been charged with abuse or neglect and endangering the welfare of a child after police say a 2-year-old girl in Clever last year was found emaciated and in critical condition. 4 adults and 2 children, including the 2-year-old, were living together in the 300 block of Mitchell Avenue in Clever. The prosecutor wrote that the residence had been condemned and deemed uninhabitable after 2 children were placed in protective custody. The main victim, a 2-year-old resident, referenced as confidential victim number 1, or CV1 in court documents, was confined to a room crawling with insects where she slept on the soiled mattress on the floor, according to probable cause statements. CV1 was hospitalized due to severe neglect and malnutrition and had suffered brain bleeds and eye injuries indicative for past abuse, according to the statements. Notably, the hospital staff compared CV1's physical and mental state or medical state to that of a Holocaust survivor, the investigator wrote. All four adults who were living in the house were charged with felonies in connection to the child's alleged child abuse and neglect. In addition to the Ozark resident named Christine Moore, who was working for the Missouri Department of Social Services, DSS, Children's Division, Moore is accused of lying to investigators, which implemented the prosecution in the case. A spokesperson for the DSS stated Friday that Moore is no longer working for the department. Suspect accused of underfeeding her child, Miracle K, was born in 2004, was arrested at her boyfriend's Clever residence on December 15th in 2025. Police responded to the report from the Chanhassen County's Children's Division that a juvenile was living in unsanitary living conditions and was severely malnourished. A police officer observed food in the house, including a box of soft baby food. The probable cause statement says, a witness claimed that McKay and CV1 were always in McKay's room and rarely came outside. Despite food being available, the officer observed that the victim was very malnourished, according to the report. McKay was charged with 7 counts of abuse or neglect of a child, 7 counts of endangering the welfare of a child. 3 other residents in the house were also charged in relation to the neglect. Jaden Maples, McKay's boyfriend, was charged with 6 counts of abuse or neglect of a child in 6 months of endangering the welfare of a child. Marissa Castor and Andrew Slyer, a couple who lived in Maples residence together with their baby, were charged with 1 count of abuse and neglect of a child and 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a child. On August 14th, McKay was listed on the Christian County Jail's inmate roster. She is being held on a $25,000 bond. McKay's co-defendants were not listed on the jail roster. Publicly accessible in court records do not indicate that any of the defendants had previously been charged with a felony in Missouri, although Maples was cited and pleaded guilty to animal neglect in Clever for 2025. The victim was unable to sit upright. The investigators with the Missouri State Technical Assistance Team reported that medical staff found CV1 had multiple subdural hematomas, brain bleeds, in different stages of healing, and retinal hemorrhaging. The residents of the house allegedly told police CV1 was largely confined to the one room, but she had been allowed to come out of the bedroom to eat together with the household on a couple occasions. Maple said December 14th, 2025, CV was placed on a high chair wearing nothing aside a diaper, and he could see that she had deteriorated badly. According to a probable cause statement. Suspect 2 attempted to prop up CV1 in the upright position multiple times, but each time she would fall or slouch back into unnatural position due to not having the physical strength to sit up, the investigator wrote in the statement. Probable cause statement and also detailed conditions that police say made the house uninhabitable. Sections of the ceiling were falling into rooms, holes in the floor covered with plywood, mouse feces, trash thrown about the entire house, and cockroaches and insects crawling throughout the room CV1 was confined in. Probable cause statements and the case lay out various allegations, mainly focused on McKay and Maples. McKay was accused of isolating CV1 in a room under a blanket on a dirty mattress for weeks at a time. One of the co-defendants accused Maples of hitting, kicking, and shaking CV1. Castor and Slyer were accused of not reaching out to authorities despite witnessing the neglect. Caseworker accused of lying in reports. The incidents filed with Christian County in June 2026 indicates that Christian Moore was a children's division worker assigned to McKay and Maples residence. A grand jury indicted Moore on 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a child, 1 count of abuse or neglect, 1 count of tampering with physical evidence. Moore allegedly made chronicle narrative in children's division documents which she knew to be false with the purpose of to mislead the investigator. This indictment states that the narrative impaired or obstructed the prosecution of McKay, Maples, and Slyer and Castor. Reached by phone on August 14th, DSS spokesperson Bailey Watts said she could not comment on the case. What I can tell you is the individual is no longer with the Department of Social Services, Watts said. Probable cause statement indicate that Moore is completely weekly visits to the McKay and Maples residence before the children were placed in protective custody, although it is not clear what caused the children's division to initially get involved. Maples told police that the caseworker was assigned in September 2025 after former roommates became angry with him, and McKay and hotlined them into retaliation, according to the probable cause statement. Another statement references investigators being aware of the incident in the summer of 2025 when Maples allegedly struck CV1 hard enough to leave a full-size handprint on her buttock area.
We are currently broadcasting live from the Blind Community Thrift Store, situated at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. For additional information about our store, please visit the official website at blindcommunitythriftstore.com to explore more of our video content including movie reviews with Matt and Meredith, adaptive technology training videos, and other informative material, please visit our YouTube channel by searching for Blind Community Thrift Store. Our organization is dedicated to supporting the blind community through various initiatives, and our online platforms serve as valuable resources for community engagement and education. From the Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield man admits to helping dispose of a slain, unsheltered man's body. The second of 3 men charged with being involved in the death of a homeless man last year, or at least helping dispose of the body, pled guilty on Friday. The body of the victim, 50-year-old David Koslow, was found in a ditch off North Farm Road 153, south of Farm Road 6, around 6:30 a.m. on October 26, 2025. Koslow had 2 gunshot wounds, one to the abdomen and one to the head. Shannon Phillips, 49, pled guilty August 14th to the Class E felony of abandonment of a corpse. He also pled guilty to an unrelated drug possession charge. Phillips waived his right to a sentencing assessment report and, in accordance with the plea agreement, was sentenced to 4 years in prison for each case, with these sentences to be served concurrently. The man suspected of pulling the trigger, Paul Sarton, is charged with Class A felony of second-degree murder, armed criminal action, unlawful possession of a firearm, and abandonment of a corpse. Sarton is scheduled for a case management conference next month in Judge Jerry Harmison's courtroom. Christopher Key, 51, pled guilty to the abandonment of a corpse in July. He will be formally sentenced in September. Koslow and the other men in the case were all unsheltered and known to frequent an encampment near the intersection of Glenstone Avenue and Evergreen Street in northeast Springfield. Before Phillips pleaded guilty on Friday, August 14th, the prosecutor explained what evidence would have been presented had the case gone to trial and painted a clearer picture of what investigators believed happened. According to Assistant Prosecutor Connor Harris, after Koslow's body was discovered in the ditch, investigators spoke with people who also frequented the encampment, who told them Phillips might have information about the homicide. Phillips was then interviewed by a detective with the Greene County Sheriff's Office. According to Harris, Phillips told the detective that on the night of August 25th, 2025, or the early morning hours of August 26th, he heard gunshots. Shortly after he heard the gunshots, Sarton approached him and asked him to go get some coffee. Phillips agreed and walked toward Sarton's vehicle, where he saw Koslow's body nearby. The defendant admitted to assisting in loading that body into Mr. Sarton's vehicle, Harris said, and then going with Sarton to the location the body was ultimately discovered to dispose of it. At the plea hearing Friday, Judge Todd Myers asked the prosecutor if Koslow's family had been notified. Harris said he wasn't sure and spent a few minutes messaging with Greene County Prosecuting Attorney's Victim Advocate Office to learn that they had not indeed been notified. Harris told the judge that the victim's family was told of the plea hearing for Key, who was also charged with the abandonment of corpse, last month, and they were not interested in attending that. I believe the majority of the contact and their interest is on an individual who's actually charged with the murder, Harris said. Before formally sentencing Phillips, Judge Myers said he wanted to circle back and make sure the record is clear. There is no indication that Mr. Phillips was involved in the death of the victim. There is another individual charged with that murder, Myers said. Is that correct? That is correct. As I mentioned, Paul Sarton has been charged with that murder, Harris said.
Youth Connect Center and GLO Center partner to expand shelter for Springfield at-risk youth. 2 nonprofit organizations have teamed up to increase overnight shelter beds for Springfield's youth. The Youth Connect Center, a program of Foster Adopt Connect, and the GLO Center, which serves as the LGBTQIA plus community of the Ozark announced earlier this month they are collaborating to increase overnight shelter from 3 to 5 nights a week, Monday through Friday. The Youth Connect Center, the YCC, is a drop-in center in downtown Springfield for youth 13 to 21 years old. In addition, providing resources and a safe place for youth and their families. The YCC also operates an 8-bed emergency shelter for teens and young adults up to 21. According to the news release, local youth have assessed the shelter more than 1,000 times since it opened in April 2024. Previously, the YCC emergency shelter was open on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night and was always full on those nights. Beginning later this month, volunteers from the CLO GLOW Center will begin staffing the shelter on Tuesday and Thursday nights. The heart of GLOW's work, the partnership will replace GLOW's existing crisis cold weather shelter with a year-round opportunity for volunteers to support youth experiencing housing instability. Erin Kitchens, the GLOW Center's executive director, said in a release, "We're excited to work alongside the Youth Connect Center and Foster Adopt Connect to expand the number of nights that safe and LGBTQ affirming emergency shelters is available to Springfield youth. Our volunteers have always been at the heart of GLOW's work," Kitchens said, "and the partnership gives them another meaningful opportunity to make a direct difference into the lives of young people in the community. For more information on how to help, please visit fosteradopt.org or glowcenter.org.
From the Daily Citizen, Springfield seeks input on data centers with 2 engagement sessions amid a 120-day moratorium. Amid Springfield's 100-day moratorium on new data center applications, the center will host 2 public engagement sessions to gather input as part of the broader effort to evaluate the city's existing regulations and develop a policy framework accounting for potential data centers. The first of the 2 sessions will take place Thursday, August 27th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Doubletree by Hotel at 2431 North Glenstone Avenue. The second is scheduled for Tuesday, September 1st from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the Library Center's Hatch Auditorium located at 4653 South Campbell. Each meeting will feature information stations staffed by rotating subject matter experts providing information on potential data center regulations regarding electricity and water usage, sound and air quality, public safety, land use, and potential community benefits according to a news release. Attendees will be able to ask questions, fill out comment cards, and take surveys. The city is encouraging attendees to plan on staying for the entirety of whichever session they attend. Residents are also invited to share their feedback by email at city@springfieldmo.gov. A hotline is being set up for residents to share feedback by phone. At a special meeting on June 29th, the Springfield City Council approved a 120-day pause on the acceptance and processing of applications pertaining to data centers in order to provide city staff time to collect public input and develop regulations to govern the potential development of data centers, accounting for their potential impacts, both positive and negative. There is currently no definition of data center in Springfield City Code. City Manager David Cameron has previously indicated that the moratorium could be extended if necessary. Driven in large part by the increasing demand for artificial intelligence, a surge in data center developments across the country has been met with staunch opposition from residents across the political spectrum, prompting elected bodies at various levels to adopt moratoriums or, in some cases, permanent bans. In addition to Springfield, several local governments have also adopted moratoriums, including Seymour, Webster County, and Stone County. The Greene County Commission recently directed the Springfield Greene County Environmental Advisory Board to conduct a study on the environmental impact of data centers. While Springfield City staff has been discussing data centers for months prior to this 120-day pause, pre-development discussions with the developer interested in using the basement floor of a two-level mixed-use office building on South National Avenue for data processing services brought the issue to the forefront. Cameron previously described the project as a cousin to a data center.
Clock tower goes up at the Ozarks Tech's new student union. A new structure shadow will mark the time like a sundial across the Ozarks Technical Community College campus, similar to the faces of its 3 clocks. Last month, workers installed the Judy and Mike Breeding clock tower near the Michael L. Parsons Student Union. The tower is a part of the Davis and Stacy O'Reilly Auto Parts Plaza, an area that will serve as a gathering space with seating and green space. The clock tower, assembled as one piece, was hoisted into place on July 30th using 2 cranes, according to the post from the college Facebook page. Designed by Drake Walls Architecture, it was made at Trinity Companies in USA Rogersville, using about 20 tons of stainless steel. Several Ozark Techni alumni were involved in the creations, according to the post. The clock tower will be available for close-up inspection during the grand opening and ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Parsons Student Union. The event has been set for 1 p.m. Wednesday, August 12th at Springfield's campus, located at Chestnut Expressway and Sherman Avenue. Former Governor Michael Parson will attend the ceremony, according to the press release. It was named for him in recognition of his efforts while governor to secure $46 million in state funds for the building. After tours of the building will be given, the new student union includes a food court, a library, a writing center, fitness center, and bookstore, and more. The new building is shorthanded as the U completes the design plan for making the Springfield campus more inviting and friendly for students. The development of a new strategic plan had begun at the college, Building Our Future Together, as at the preliminary phase, where members of the public were asked to give feedback about the college's direction and answer the question, what should Ozark Tech do next to best support and strengthen the region? The college has been taking suggestions at a booth at the Ozarks Fair open house are set for the Republic Education Center on August 11th, the Springfield campus on August 19th, and Richwood Valley campus on August 26th. Feedback can also be submitted online.
And from the news leader, Springfield Service Fair aims to connect residents with nonprofits. The History Museum on the Square will bring together more than 24 nonprofit and community organizations for its 3rd annual Service Fair on the Square from 10 a.m. to noon, September 5th in downtown Springfield, offering residents opportunities to volunteer, donate, and learn about local causes. The free event is open to all ages and is designed to connect community members with organizations serving Southwest Missouri, according to a community announcement. Museum leaders said in the announcement that the fair supports the institution's broader effort to strengthen community engagement and encourage civic involvement. Attendees can explore volunteer opportunities and learn about organizations focused on areas ranging from youth mentoring and education to environmental advocacy, arts, and social services. Organizers said that the event is intended for students seeking service hours, families interested in community involvement, and adults looking for volunteer opportunities. Volunteering is an essential part of nonprofit work, said Alyssa Carter. Visitor experience and engagement manager said in an announcement, the service fair on the square is a great way to support the cycle of pairing the skills and interests of community members to organizations that support our community in turn. Participating organizations include Big Brothers Big Sisters, CASA of Southwest Missouri, Celebrate Springfield, Champion Athletes, the Discovery Center of Springfield, the Drew Lewis Foundation, Eden Village, the GLO Center, Grace United Methodist Church, Hope Foundation, Habitat for Humanity, the Historic Galois Theater, and the Humane Society of Southwest Missouri, Integrity Home Care and Hospice, the International Institute of Southwest Missouri, Isabel's House, Ozarks Area Community Action Corporation, Ozarks Food Harvest, Pause to the Polls, Springfield Sculpture Walk, Senior Age, U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary Flotilla 5-2, the Victim Center, Visit Springfield, Wilson's Creek National Battlefield, the Youth Volunteer Corps, and the History Museum on the square. Organizers said that the event provides a place for participants to learn about local needs while connecting directly with agencies and charitable groups. The service fair is one of our favorite ways to bring our community together here on the square, Al Thompson, interim education manager, said in the announcement. Not only do we want to help attendees find meaningful volunteering opportunities, but we also love the chance to shine a spotlight on the incredible work being done by all the organizations in our community. No registration is required to attend the event. Additional information is available through the History Museum on the Square website at historymuseumonthesquare.org. Questions may be directed to the museum's education team at edu@historymuseumonthesquare.org.
Springfield's Ririko, reborn as Melting Borders, blending South Korean and Argentinian and American flavors. If you're looking for something different to eat in Springfield, try Melting Borders Kitchen and Sips, located in the former Ririko's Brazilian Grill, the vegetarian restaurant Angel Kim's new venture. It opens Tuesday, August 18th, and the menu is a kaleidoscope of flavors and cultures. Want chicken fried steak? He has it. Crawling beef bulgogi or Japha street noodles, which are Korean glass noodles made from sweet potato starch. You'll be delighted as you slurp the sesame kiss threads mixed with thinly sliced bell peppers, vegetables, and strips of steak. Or try the tender steak tacos made with KC strip topped with vibrant pink pickled onions, cojito cheese, and fresh salsa, and thick sliced avocado. Whatever you want, I want it to be the best of that dish, Kim said. If you want chicken tenders, I want it to be the best. If you want Korean, I want it to be the best. It's all about the ingredients. And if you order spicy Korean dish, no, it's going to be very spicy. I couldn't have done this 20 years ago in Springfield, Kim said. The restaurant scene has exploded and consumers are the more willing to try new things. He points to the success of Corner 21, which is not American Chinese food, it's real Chinese food. If you order Korean dish, it's going to be authentic, like kimchi, pancakes, or traditional Korean rice cakes. I got tired of going to big cities to get my Korean fix, he said. Melting Borders is a reflection of his life. Kim has owned numerous restaurants in town in the last 25 years and says this will be his last one. Ririko closed in February after nearly 20 years in the business. They had serious plumbing issues and had to gut the building, so he decided to start something different. Kim's family originated in Korea but moved to Argentina, where he was born. The former Drury University president went to Argentina to recruit international students, and Kim was one of the students he brought back. He moved to Springfield in 1999 as a pre-med student, but in 2002 he decided he wanted to open a restaurant started the Argentina Steakhouse. It was in Springfield's first introduction to Argentinian food. If you were a former customer and loved it, then know that it is a filet mignon and Casey strip of the new menu at Melting Borders are made in that same style with the same seasoning and chimichurri sauce and chimichurri in the herbacus sauce with garlic and oil used on steaks in South America. When he started his first restaurant, Kim had chef from Argentina, but when that chef left, Kim took over the kitchen. He went to Korea in 2003 to study the craft of Korean food. His instructor, Song Kane, made aforementioned sesame kissed noodles. I thought I needed to talk to that girl, Kim said. That dish brought back a lot of memories. They married a few years later and had 3 daughters. His wife loves to cook, and many of the recipes are her own, although she doesn't work at the restaurant. She did help her husband open Rico's when it debuted. She was busy with her daughters who plays hockey. In fact, being a family that is on the road a lot of the time for games, another inspiration for Kim. When families travel with their children's activities and end up in a new city, they want something familiar or comforting that is close to their hotel, so the menu was a variety of craving familiars, similar in families. Melting Borders is across the street from a hotel, and Kim had a soft opening last week. He said one night 20 cowboys came in and 18 ordered chicken fried steak. They raved about it. Kim has opened many restaurants in town, including Blue Sesame, The Hill, because he loved Italian food from The Hill in St. Louis, Novo Asian Bristo, and Frida Mexican cuisine. So he has experience in different cuisines. Expect a show with some of the food. With his last restaurant, Kim is going out with a bang. Although many restaurants offer fajitas, they will make a tableside fajita. I love the tableside fajita, $18.95, because it makes a whole dining room smell amazing, said manager Rachel Shaw. They came with chicken or steak, but you can customize them and add sausage or other ingredients. You can also order flamin' margarita. He has nice selection of margaritas like mango, habanero, and silver sangria options. Sangria. You can also order, my favorite is the apple cinnamon sangria because it tastes like apple pie. I've never had a sangria taste like that, Shua said. Some dishes, wow, like the basa, freshwater catfish, is a huge fillet of panko encrusted fried and drizzled with teriyaki glaze and wasabi aioli with the light, crispy, and delicious. There are small lunch menus including one tripe queso or queso with salad bar for $8.95 or teriyaki chicken with Shu's favorite dish. It's amazing. I am a picky eater, she said. The manager is excited to feed people again. Shu started working for Kim when she was 15 as a hostess and worked at the Hill in Rico. Melting Borders is large with the capacity of 290 and have upstairs and seats up to 60, and it can be booked for traditional Brazilian barbecue or other events. I know some people are disappointed we are not doing the Brazilian, but they can rent to the upstairs if they have at least 30 people for the Brazilian grill, she said. Shu is excited to reopen and see customers again. I love seeing them happy when they get their food. She said, as for Kim, he is ready for his final restaurant venture, and in Springfield, he wants to do his best. This melting flavors is what Springfield is about. Steaks, comfort food, Mexican food, Asian food. Kim said, I am very proud of what we serve.
From the Daily Citizen, Nixa police will join ICE program, training some officers to enforce immigration laws. The Nixa Police Department, NPD, is entering a task force model agreement with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, allowing ICE agents to train and authorize some Nixa police officers to perform specific immigration and enforcement tasks. On August 11th, Nixa City Council voted 5-1 to adopt a resolution authorizing NPD to enter ICE's 287G program, despite several residents speaking against the agreement. Our intent is not to change the mission of the Nixa Police Department or engage in general immigration enforcement, said Captain Jason Fleetwood. Rather, this gives our officers an additional legal framework, training, information, and federal resources when immigration issues are encountered throughout legitimate law enforcement activity, and provides opportunities for greater cooperation with federal partners. Across the county, a growing number of law enforcement agencies are participating in the 287G program. Several Springfield area law enforcement agencies, including the Christian County Sheriff's Office, have entered agreements with ICE since 2025. About a dozen Nixa and Springfield residents made public comments on August 11th, mostly in opposition to the partnership with ICE. City Council's vote on the resolution triggered an outburst from a handful of people. Your constituents are who you are supposed to listen to, but you didn't, and there were a lot of us here, resident Mindy Nielsen stated as she left the meeting. Councilmember Kelly Morris, District 3, cast the lone vote in opposition to the 287G resolution. She stated that she voted no because the community, through public comments, expressed opposition to the ICE program. Nielsen urged City Council to vote against NPD joining the ICE program, stating that 287G partnerships do not make the community safer. Instead, it erodes the vital trust between our local police department and our residents, she said. When families fear that a simple traffic stop, call for emergency medical help, or reporting a crime would lead to federal immigration inquiries, whole communities go into the shadows and public safety suffers for everyone. Nielsen could be seen wearing a "Resisters for Life" t-shirt. A few people who spoke against the 287G program identified themselves as members of the Southern Missouri Immigration Alliance, SMIA, and Immigrant Justice Collaborative Ministry of National Avenue Christian Church in Springfield. In her public comments, Nixa resident Kayla Gilbot Youngers referenced SMIA's analysis and reports on ICE detention data in Greene County. She said she has donated money to women being held by ICE in Greene County Jail so they could afford hygiene projects. The overwhelming majority of ICE detainees in that jail do not have a criminal conviction. To be holding those people there without a criminal conviction is unconstitutional, she said. She questioned whether NPD has an incentive to join the 287G program so it can receive federal resources. Ron Sanders, Secretary of the Christian County, Missouri Republican Assembly, was the only speaker who urged City Council to enter the ICE program. Having ICE as a partnership is crucial to making sure that all of those bad things that we've seen on TV do not happen here. Our local law enforcement, if they happen to run into these situations, they will know how to deal with it. Two residents who said they were not necessarily against NPD collaborating with ICE asked questions about whether data from Flock license plate reading cameras in Nixa could be accessed by federal agents if NPD enters a 287G agreement. The AI-powered surveillance cameras have drawn scrutiny from the Christian County residents and people across the U.S. due to concerns about privacy and the potential for some authorities to misuse the technology. Christian County law enforcement officials say the Flock system helps them investigate and even prevent some crimes. I'm for immigration enforcement. I'm not so much for using mass surveillance to achieve it, said Nicholas Mueller of NICSA. He said that NICSA Police Department's memorandum of agreement with ICE could allow federal authorities to ask for data collected in the NICSA community related to the very vague and broad definitions of investigations relating to the memorandum of agreement. Fleetwood addressed Mueller's questions, stating the specific tracking data NICSA would be required to render to ICE upon request is an arrest log. When we encounter an individual that we end up taking enforcement action with, that data itself is tracked, not how we encountered the individual. Fleetwood said, adding that it has nothing to do with Flock. NPD started officially collaborating with federal authorities through another task force in 2026. In May, NICSA Police Department joined the U.S. Marshal Service Midwest Violence Fugitive Task Force, a permanent regional initiative between federal, state, and local authorities to apprehend fugitives with active warrants. This task force primarily focuses on violent crimes against persons, weapons offenses, felony drug cases, missing children, and sex offenders. USMS provides training, equipment, and reimbursement for the hours an assigned police officer spends on the task force. NICSA Police Chief Joe Campbell previously told the Daily Citizen that NICSA Police Department maintained a working relationship with USMS for many years before entering the task force. He said the benefit of entering the Marshal Service Task Force was that it brings federal resources to bear for local causes. Major Chad Tennis addressed several questions and concerns raised by the community members before City Council voted on the 287G resolution. He said the program would not authorize general, random, community-wide immigration checks. NPD maintains built-in safeguards to preserve a community trust and govern use of force, bias-based policing, victim and witness assistance, and public complaints, Tennis said. He stated that officers could only exercise limited delegated authority in immigration enforcement during the course of regular law enforcement encounters. Tennis told the Daily Citizen that NICSA Police Department has not identified how many officers would be trained to enforce the immigration laws through the 287G program. That decision will be based on officers' experience, position within the organization, and other factors. ICE provides a 40-hour block of training for officers to be authorized to take on certain ICE agent responsibilities, according to Fleetwood. According to previous Daily Citizen reporting, officers who are trained under the 287G task force model may be authorized to do the following: interrogate people suspected of being in the country illegally, arrest people without warrants if they have entered the country illegally and may have attempt to escape, serve and execute arrest warrants for immigration violations, administer oaths and consider evidence for alien processing, prepare charging documents for the signature of an ICE officer, issue immigration detainers, maintain custody of people arrested by ICE, transport people to ICE-approved detention facilities. Local agencies participating in 287G programs are eligible to receive reimbursement from the federal government to cover the hours officers spend enforcing immigration laws and equipment used during those operations. Tennis also explained from his perspective why the 287G agreement would be a benefit to the NICSA community. Our local department's primary focus is protecting public safety during routine, lawful policing, he said. As an example, if our officers respond to an active, volatile scene like our recent high-profile shots fired call, where an individual fled from the police, This tool allows us to immediately identify individuals with outstanding federal detainers or deportation orders even before new state level charges are formally filed, and it bridges an information gap during lawful encounters. Tennis referenced a mid July incident in which police responded to a call about someone shooting a gun in Nix's Forest Park neighborhood and chased a man on foot. The man, identified as 20-year-old Edwin Ramon Zelaya, was riding a bicycle through the neighborhood and fled when police attempted to make contact with him. According to an incident report from the Christian County Sheriff's Office, Zelaya Radio was located at his girlfriend's house, which was in the neighborhood. Zelaya Radio was arrested at the residence and later admitted that he ran from police because of his immigration status, the report states. In the report, a detective concluded that the call about someone firing a gun was unfounded, that Zelaya Radio did not match the description the caller provided, and he was not found with a firearm. Officers found that Zelaya Radio had a deportation order from a federal judge, according to an announcement from CCSO. He was booked in the Greene County Jail on ice hold. No other charges were filed.
Springfield Regional Arts Council unveiled 10-year cultural roadmap for the Ozarks. The Springfield City Council approved Forward SGE, a 20-year comprehensive plan and policy guide in November 2022. It serves as a blueprint guiding the city's future growth. And the plan includes arts and culture as a key theme. That's a good thing, but it wasn't quite what Springfield Regional Arts Council was looking for. A theme isn't a plan, said Leslie Forrester, the Arts Council Executive Director. So we need to make a plan because even in the arts world, we do make plans to build process and structures. And we want to do big things. We have got to build sustainability so that it sticks around for a while and build it the way very authentic to who we are and the people who are impacted. The Springfield Regional Arts Council would very much like to do big things, and it's planned is how we live. The SRAC released The Place We Make, Creative Roadmap for the Ozarks in July. It is a 10-year cultural plan for the Springfield region. Springfield's name is used in there as identifier, but really it's meant to be regional and remove some of those traditional boundaries of city limits. Forrester said, if we are all in the neighborhood, we're all pushing to support the community and the lives here. We are really excited about that regionalism aspect of this can develop into how we might be able to really work together as a region to demonstrate the central part of the United States isn't just for something to step over, or that Bentonville is the anomaly. It's not. More than 1,000 people participated in the progress. This Place We Make was was produced by the Cultural Planning Group with support from Art Council staff to make it. More than 1,000 area residents were engaged in the surveys and focus groups sharing the vision for the region where the arts and culture thrive. The team was intentional about engaging with diverse groups of stakeholders, meeting with Black community leaders and the Hispanic networking group of the Ozarks, as well as business owners, healthcare providers, musicians, neighborhood leaders, and more. People were really excited to participate in the progress, so we are struggling to find people who will tell us what they want, which is really great because sometimes precipitation is arts for the certain group of people, or that people don't want arts in their lives, or just want a waste of the public resource shouldn't be there, Forrester said, but it's not what we heard really at all from people. It is truly the community's agenda, and they were really excited, enthusiastic about not only participating in the plan, but it was cultural life look like. What cultural life looks like. What the Arts Council found in the engagement process is a community with significant cultural assets and strong grassroots arts activity, but facing challenges around the coordination, communication, and access. From all data is gathered, the team came up with 5 guiding principles: regional collaboration, regional character, sustainability, innovation, and economic development, as well as 3 main goals: multiple strategies to achieve them, and a list of community partners with them which to collaborate. Goal 1: broaden and deepen Springfield's engagement in the arts and culture. Forrester said that the number one thing an SRAC heard in most recent or every focus group and the public event was that it struggled to learn about the arts events in Springfield area. Many participants noted that they aren't hearing about things until after the fact, if at all. The biggest barrier is to engagement. It is not even. I don't want to engage in that and stuff, she said. It's just too expensive, or you just don't do anything I want. There was some issue about scheduling, but that's always going to be a challenge. So we need to figure out a different method, or and what we are missing and how we can centralize it and make sure that there's an obvious resource that exists. It is a big issue in 2026. The information is no longer centralized in one community newspaper and a handful of radio and TV stations. Information is everywhere, especially on social media. But that makes it harder for art patrons to find an information they need. It's so scattered and so much of its algorithm based, Forrester said. The challenge is finding the right megaphone, and it's just one thing. Another big concern is making sure the community is just welcoming to any audience and any group of people that live here, because it's not just for one group of people, Forrester said. Goal 2: cultivate and evaluate Springfield's creator sector. The Springfield Regional Arts Council demands for arts culture programming in the cities to grow significantly in the next 10 to 30 years. There's no reason to think demand won't grow regionally, as well as Goal 2. It is internally focused, looking at the structures that exist now and where they will need to grow and change to meet demand. We need to be ready to serve the folks coming here, Forrester said. So many things like providing funding, support, not just for individual artists, but for also community groups that are not official nonprofits. There are all kinds of different entities that exist outside the traditional nonprofit setting for most funding, especially in the grant field. It is for nonprofits. You can't apply as an individual if you don't have 501c3 or some version of that. So we can be more supportive on finding funding and donors who are excited about that. That includes emergency funding to help artists who, for example, have their gear stolen from their car or have been impacted by natural disaster or pandemic. Forrester also wants to increase professional development for artists, helping them with billing, invoicing, insurance, taxes, and all those other exciting, not artisty things. An artist entrepreneur is the same thing as a tech entrepreneur. So designing opportunities and partnerships with friends like Missouri State University, eFactory, and others who are really good at that. Curating those experiences from the creative community as well. Forrester said, we also think about talent attractions and retention. We want to keep those creative brains and those wonderful problem solvers that are coming out of all our universities and colleges and give them resources they need in order to do that. There are also a need for more physical places to create. a Creamery Arts Center, a home to SRAC and other partner arts organizations that is stretched beyond capacity, as our Gillows third floor and the New Moon Studio. There's an Arts Council committee working on a Creamery 2.0 as long-term expansion of the Creamery Arts Center. We don't have a rehearsal hall large enough for the Springfield Symphony Orchestra to practice in, or Springfield Ballet to have all the pieces on stage until 2 days before the audience shows up, Forrester said. There's a need for rehearsal rooms because it's really hard to practice your saxophone when you're in an apartment. You lose some of those physical spaces after you graduate, and then you don't have anywhere to practice your instrument or throw a pot, because those are all messy, and those we are missing. What we are missing that we need. Where does growth need to happen? Goal number 3, development sustainable infrastructure for Springfield's arts and culture. If you are doing all the hard work and building cool things, you don't want them to disappear, Forrester said. And that focus of goal 3, what is going to take to sustain those things? Of course, a lot of that money, just like any other business, if we don't have capital to pay people or to keep the lights on in the Creamery 2.0, then what was the point of doing it, Forrester said. We need to make sure we've got sustainable resources financially, and to do that locally and not be solely reliant on public funding, which can be very fickle. Forrester wants the funding to help more than just big fish in the area art scene. It should be support to the mid-sized organizations and startups like Queen City Shakespeare Company and other grassroots groups and develop in the community, she said. We want to take the arts, the culture grant making that we do every year and just blow it even further, because there is so much need for more so that we can possibly fund. We want to build systems and infrastructure that are sustainable over time. All that can feel overwhelming, but Forrester and the SRAC won't let that stop them from getting started. I think the first steps in doing something acoustically is to make plans, then figure out how to bite one off at a time, she said. We demonstrated success over the last 20 to 25 years as a sector, so we're not starting from scratch. And all these things that our community wants, funding is always going to be a challenge. And if that is a challenge that we're facing, that can be the thing that stops us from doing something really big and transformational in our community. Implementation of the plan will require public participation. Now that the plan is published, for the next steps is to turn into a working document of Springfield Regional Arts Council is already at work on implementing schedule for this place we make. The Foresters acknowledges that 10 years is both a long time and it's not a very long time. The team is reviewing and ordered operations as efficient with the resources as possible and is working on the 5-year strategic plan. The next steps will still in progress, so we are encouraging people to reach out to us, Forrester said. And if there's something exciting that you want to help move the needle on, reach out and let us know. We're focused on very much community arts engagement, and that's part of the whole role. We have lots of friends in the area of creativity, and we're really excited about making those connections, whether it's with another organization, and it's not just the Arts Council doing the work, it takes all of us. Forrester calls the place we make the right plan, not a fast plan. Implementation might take more than 10 years, but in the long progress of being made, that's positive. The community we get a heck of a lot further together, then that's the whole point of its plan, Forrester said. This plan is for us because we deserve this kind of experience. We shouldn't have to go to Bentonville or Chicago or Tulsa. Springfield and the region is so freaky vortex of talent. I always credit Beth Domain because those are her words. But it is so true. It is so true that Springfield and Southwest Missouri have a lot to offer. And we really robust culture. Anybody who says otherwise is wrong. We have a robust culture here in the Ozarks and a long history of it. So let's make sure the legacy doesn't die with us. Let's do some good things.
And from the Springfield Business Journal, Missouri Sports Hall of Fame Museum reopens to the public. For the first time in more than 4 years, the memorabilia-packed museum inside the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame is open to the public. The location has changed, and the downtown space is smaller than what was available before the 2021 closures, but Rob Marsh, president and CEO, said the August 13 opening was a win. It's evidence of the progress that we've made, Marsh said in an interview. I hope people are proud. It's not about the bricks and mortar, it's about the artifacts and the stories that they tell. Marsh stepped into the role in January 2025 during a period of upheaval and financial distress. He worked to stabilize the hall, sell the longtime home near Highland Springs Country Club, and set up a new headquarters at 431 West Walnut Street. The organization went through a period of significant transition, and some difficult decisions had to be made, he said. Our priority was stabilizing the Hall of Fame, protecting its mission, and building a sustainable path forward. Following the August 13th ribbon cutting, the museum will be open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. Marsh said the space highlights the main sports played in the Show Me State and top contributions to athletic life. It also features rotating exhibits, which change seasonally and start with baseball. Football is up next. A large photo of Hall of Fame founder John Q. Hammonds is near the entrance. Inside the museum, there are game-worn championship jerseys and game balls, a scorecard from golfer Payne Stewart, and other memorabilia. More than 4,000 sports artifacts have been collected over the decades. There is something at championship level at every sport that you're going to be able to identify in some form or fashion in a hall, ball, uniform, or trophy. There is a wall of legends highlighting those who made a significant impact on sports in Missouri. The Hall of Fame also added a list of every inductee for the family members and friends to find. That is something new that we're definitely most proud of, Marsh said. Marsh said he stretched every dollar to transform the former office space on Walnut Street into offices and roughly 5,000 square feet of display space. He said the project cost nearly $50,000 and included painting, adding lighting, and removing walls, according to the past reporting by the Springfield Business Journal. Marsh said he had identified good options for a permanent home for the Hall of Fame, but has not made a final decision. We have to make sure that it's sustainable. I've got to check all those boxes before I sign on the dotted line.
Thank you for listening to the Blind and Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube's channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from Springfield's news leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. Thank you and have a great day.